Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. First day of the new year, I guess, for a lot of people, since yesterday was a kind of a down day. It was for me, anyways. But we're back at it today. Had a really good class this morning. People are really into getting into their fitness right now, so it's a fun time at the studio for sure. So, yeah, I've been having a great day. Hope you have been too. So, I wanted to talk a bit about food and its effect on your mood. So we all know that eating has a direct effect on our physical appearance. So if you're eating the wrong kinds of foods, that will manifest itself in some physical things such as weight gain or maybe bad skin or whatever. It's going to show up physically. But a lot of people haven't drawn the connection between what we're putting in our bodies and our mood. And it's actually quite profound how much, what an effect that food has on your mood. Hey Andy, how's it going? Hi Peggy. Hey Michael. So, like I said, a lot of people don't realize the effect, and I learned this my own way by cutting out certain foods, and it was amazing the difference that it made. Um, so it really does affect your mood. A lot of studies have been done to prove that. I did a study on myself that proved that, so maybe you've experienced the same kind of thing. So one thing that can affect your mood is if you're eating foods that you are actually sensitive to. So a lot of people have food sensitivities that they're not even aware of. If you're thinking that maybe you're sensitive to certain food, what I suggest is eliminating one food that you normally eat. Eliminate that for 3 to 5 days, and then see how you're feeling. Keep a diary about how you're feeling. If you notice a change, if you're feeling better, more energetic, your stomach feels better, then you know that that particular food is not a food that you should be eating because you're sensitive to it, and it's not going to affect you very well. If you eliminate a food and you don't notice any changes, then you can put that food back in and then try eliminating another one. Just make sure you do it one at a time, because if you take a whole bunch out and there's some changes, you're not going to know which one caused the change. So do it one at a time. Hey Mark. Hi Maria. So try that if you're curious. I personally, I kind of had an idea of what my problem food was because I was eating a lot of sugar from the time I was very young up until my, I guess, mid to late 20s. Basically, I had sugar at every single meal. When I think back to what I was eating, it's like no wonder I was a bit of a mess for a while. So I was eating quite a bit of sugar, and then I took a nutrition course, and I read some stuff about sugar, and I'd read other things about sugar. And, like a lot of people, I didn't really draw the connection as to how it could affect my mood. And, but I thought, it sounds like this is something I think I should try cutting out sugar and see what happens. So it was tough. I definitely went through a withdrawal period for sure. So it's not easy to give up sugar. It is addictive. Both, it is addictive mentally. So keep that in mind if you're going to cut out sugar. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And then the first thing that I noticed was I was doing my workouts and I wasn't needing my inhaler. I'm asthmatic. I've been asthmatic since I was a young child. And I used to have an asthma attack just from walking half a block. Like I always had my inhaler with me because I was always having asthma attacks. So one day I was at the gym and I was doing my workout and I was thinking, hey, I haven't even taken my inhaler. So that was one huge change for me, was that my breathing improved. That's because asthma is basically inflammation, and sugar causes inflammation. The other thing that happened was that my depression and anxiety went away, and I was having some pretty big issues with that. I was on medication for it for some years. I decided to go off of it. I was pretty miserable. And that was the other thing that I noticed when I cut out sugar, was that my mood changed. I wasn't having those anxiety attacks. Like, it was just incredible. That's when my eyes were really opened up to the connection between nutrition and mental health. So it's not just your physical health, it's your mental health as well. So if you're not sure what might be causing you issues, there's some foods that are more common that cause sensitivities in people. So gluten is the big one. That's the protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. So if you're eating, quite a bit of bread, a few wheat products, try cutting them out and see what happens. See if that helps you. Another one a lot of people are allergic to, sensitive to, are nuts. So if that's something that you eat a lot, try eliminating that. Soy is another one. I actually don't think people should be eating soy at all anyways. Wheat, so that goes back to the gluten. Corn, that's another one a lot of people are sensitive to. That's why high fructose corn syrup is such a terrible thing to put into your body. Dairy, especially cow's milk, really, we don't need to be drinking milk after we're weaned off of milk as a baby. We don't really need to be drinking milk as an adult, really. I know some people will argue with me about that, and that's fine, but from the research that I've read, it's really not a necessary thing to have in your diet, and for most people it causes a lot of inflammation and mucus buildup and that kind of thing. Eggs, another one. That would suck. I love eggs, but some people are quite sensitive to them. And then nightshades such as eggplant, tomatoes, wild potatoes, peppers, and spices that include peppers. So those are just some things you can think about your diet and try cutting some of those out one at a time and see if one of those is causing you any problems. Caffeine can be a problem. I consume caffeine. I have my cup of coffee in the morning. I will not give that up. I used to drink a lot more coffee, and I used to experience that caffeine crash. Like once the caffeine wore off, and I'd have this big crash, and it sucked. Now I just have one cup a day, and I'm fine with that. I enjoy that. If you feel like you're drinking too much caffeine, you just feel like you need to eliminate it altogether, I just read about this thing called Dandy Blend. I'll put the link to the website in the comments so you can check it out. I think it might be a dandelion tea type thing because I've heard before that that's a good alternative to coffee. So if you really want to cut out caffeine and want to try something, I'll leave the link and you can check out their website. But yeah, for myself, I'm not going to give up coffee. As long as I don't have too much, I'm fine. So what do you do to make sure that your mood is staying steady and you're not experiencing highs and lows and anxiety and that kind of thing? The big thing is to manage your blood sugar. So after you figure out your food sensitivities, then you got to really think about managing your blood sugar. So if you're having those highs and lows, that's going to have a big effect on your mental state for sure. If you're not sure how to control your blood sugar, it's by eating healthy and eating regularly. So don't skip meals. You can't be skipping meals. It ends in disaster. It's not going to do anything good for you at all. Make sure that you do have breakfast. So your breakfast needs to be something with a healthy protein, a healthy carb, and a healthy fat. So don't just grab, coffee and a donut because that's going to do you no good at all. You're going to crash later. It's going to be terrible. Just have, a good, healthy breakfast to start your day off. So then you get your blood sugar on an even keel. And then if you're eating healthy throughout the day, having your snacks and meals, you'll keep it at that even keel. You won't have that big crash in the afternoon. And you won't have those highs and lows in mood and, crankiness and that kind of thing. Typically when your blood sugar drops, all of a sudden you are just cranky because of it. For breakfast, I have a shake that I love. So I have that shake. It's got a good amount of protein in it. I have half an apple with that. And then I also have a drink that has ketones in it as well as MCT, which is a good source of fat. So that's something that's what I like to have for breakfast. So, there are many different things that you can choose from. Personally, I can't really face a lot of solid food first thing in the morning, especially when it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I like to have a shake. I'm a shake girl for sure. And it's not too heavy too, because that's the other thing too, is that I get up, I have breakfast, and within half an hour I'm teaching a spin class. So the last thing I want on a spin bike is to have a stomach full of solid foods making me feel sick. So that's why I go for the liquid, more kind of liquid breakfast. So some more tips on how to manage your blood sugar. So your meals, whether it's a large meal or a small meal, should be balanced with healthy proteins, carbs, and fats. So some healthy proteins, think about nuts, seeds, wild fish, organic chicken, grass-fed beef. Healthy carbs, fruits and vegetables are great. Great choice. You can't really go wrong, although you can eat too much fruit, so don't go crazy on the fruit. And healthy fats, you're looking at like olive oil, avocados, nuts and seeds again. So nuts and seeds have protein, but they also have quite a bit of fat in them, so they can be used as a protein source and a fat source. Grass-fed butter, yeah, I said butter. Butter's good for you. Go ahead and have some. Make sure that you're just watching your portions on it. Never ever eat margarine. It's not real food. It's kind of like plastic. Stop eating flour and sugar products. I think a lot of people kind of realize that. For most people, it does cause inflammation and it does alter your mood. and never ever eat anything with high fructose corn syrup. So fructose in itself is a really unhealthy thing to put into your body unless it's still in fruit form. That's another topic I'll talk about some other time, but yeah, avoid fructose and especially high fructose corn syrup. It's just terrible. Stop consuming all processed junk and prepackaged foods. So in other words, if it was made in a factory somewhere, don't eat it. You want to eat food that was made in nature. Stop eating trans or hydrogenated fats. So again, you're going to find that in processed foods, trans fats, hydrogenated fats. So even if they say it's organic, it's still not good for you. You can help to fix your cell membrane so that they can more easily receive messages from insulin by adding omega-3 fats to your diet. So salmon's a good source. I used to use a really good oil. It's called Udo's oil. It's a mix of omega-3, 6, and 9. You can find that in your grocery store in the refrigerated section, or at a lot of sports supplement stores will have it as well. Really good. You can add it to your shakes. You can put it on your salad. Really good source of omega-3s. Eat 30 to 50 grams per day of soluble fiber. So don't skip out on the fiber. You got to have it. No surprise to hear this from me. Get your workout in. You got to work out. You got to move. Exercise improves your cell's ability to respond to insulin better. So that's going to help to control your blood sugar level, and you're just going to feel better. And it also gives you that boost in mood right away. So right away you get the release of endorphins and you're already feeling good. And always make time for me time. So have your downtime. So, you know, I recommend every day having a certain amount of downtime. So whether that's first thing in the morning or in the evening, just have some time all alone by yourself just to kind of, you know, take a breath, not worry about anything, don't stress out about work, just have that little bit of time to yourself. And then schedule in vacations. So I know it's tempting to just go, you know, go all the time, and I'm guilty of doing that quite often, but I've learned as I've gotten older and wiser that you need to have that downtime. So I make a point of having some downtime every single day so that I can just relax and just refresh. It really helps. So some foods that boost your mood. Nuts. Nuts are a great food to have. I always have some almonds on me. Walnuts are really good too. But again, watch the portion size. They are high in fat, which means if you eat too much, you're going to get a stomach ache. So, you know, you don't want to have that happening. Berries, great fruit to have, so that you've got your carbohydrate source and it's high in fiber. Dark green leafy vegetables, so make up a nice big salad and throw in some dark green leafy vegetables. Dark orange vegetables, pumpkin, squash, carrots, that kind of thing. Basically pretty much any vegetable. Wild caught salmon, so not the farm salmon. If you've ever compared wild salmon to farm salmon and you see all those white striations in the farm salmon, that's fat. Those are not very healthy fish. So you want to be getting your salmon wild. Citrus, so grapefruit in the morning if you enjoy that. And fermented foods as well. So these have all been shown to help boost your mood. And that's pretty much it that I could find for this article. So if you want to, you know, have a strong, healthy body and a healthy, happy mind, you really, really have to look at your nutrition. Like, don't think that it's not affecting you, because it really is. And I know from experience. So if you're suffering from mood problems and that kind of thing, look at your diet. Maybe just keep a food diary for a week just to see if you can see any trends, because a lot of times when we're eating stuff, we don't realize what we're eating. So maybe just keep a diary and look at that and see what might be causing your issues. If you want to email me your diary, let me know. I'll happily look at it and try to guide you to a more healthy plan to help get you into a better mood. So, and if you think about it, okay, if you think about eating a meal and you've got one meal that's like, you know, organic vegetables and fresh meat that's been raised properly and healthy fats, okay, and you compare that to a plate full of processed dead food-like substances, like what sounds better? You want to go for that food that is going to help you, not hurt you. I call those dead processed food like substances non-foods, because they really are non-foods. They shouldn't be going in your body. They actually increase toxicity, inflammation, and nutritional deficiencies, actually robbing your body of nutrients. So stay away from them. If you've ever noticed, like when you eat a certain food, if you're wearing, you know, rings or something like that, all of a sudden they feel really tight, it's because inflammation is happening in your body, and that's how it's showing itself. So that's a good indicator of a food that might be irritating you. So make sure when you're eating, ask yourself, if there were no grocery stores and you had to find it in nature, could you? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and eat it. If the answer is no, then you shouldn't be putting it in your body. So I got to run and get ready for the next class, and that's about it for me. So I will talk to you again tomorrow. Oh, and if you want to see more information, as I've mentioned before, if you go to my website, I keep this in kind of a blog form type website, so there's lots of information on there, holyfit.ca. All right, talk to you soon.